the last 10 years, I've been, sometimes I've been a rolling rock, but wherever I get settled down, I'll come into a VA, and they'll transfer my case like clockwork over. I need to see my psychiatrist or a psychiatrist and get my medication refilled.
Tonight we had our town hall, and this is where we get local information on the VA facility that we are going to be visiting for the next 2 days. We start off with a town hall with talking to many of the people that actually use the facility, people in the community, some of the politicians. We find out what they think, get their ideas, find out what's wrong, what's right, etc. And then we'll be spending the next 2 days doing interviews with the staff, the workers, the patients of the facility here in LA.
We meet with the hospital leadership and their executive staff and leadership staff, talking about what we hear from at these town hall meetings, and we come up with resolutions, best practices, challenges, and recommendations to try to ensure that the VA system is meeting the needs of our veterans. And when they're not, then we can take those challenges locally to the local congressional representatives, as well as our national congressional representatives, ensure that the VA receives the funding, resources needed to care for our nation veterans. And the only way we can do that is go out and host these town hall meetings, and hopefully veterans come out and share their honest feelings about the system that they get their care from without fear of reprisal.
I was in the Navy back east on the USS Ronald Reagan. Post 9/11 vet. I went in 01, got out of active duty in 04, and right away jumped on with the VA.
My story took me across the nation, small towns and cities, and if I needed a medication and I was out of town, out of California, I could just call my primary doctor, and 2 days later, if I showed up in a different city, New York or Minneapolis or Memphis, I can go right into a VA, check in, go talk to a psychiatrist, get my medication, and be out the door promptly. And I really think it's a great story to tell, because it shows the ability of the VA, the connectiveness that they have, and their willingness to help you as a veteran, as a working veteran on the road, get out and get going again.
Waiting times, a lot of times we get a lot of unable to get a certain kind of care. One of the problems I have is the medication I take, it's not on the approved list, that I can't get through the VA, so I have to buy through private, get from a private doctor. These things happen often. And alternative medicine, that's a real big one right now. Certain alternative medicines are being used, some of them aren't. There's a lot of research out there to alternative, herb type, natural medicines and natural healing techniques, yoga, meditation. A lot of people think those are kind of strange, and a lot of people use them every day for pain management and for control of their own functions. And these are things that we bring out and we learn from the people here. We had a gentleman here tonight who talked about alternative medicine, which I thought was great, because that's one of the things the American Legion is actually looking into with the VA.
Cannabinoids, which mainly what we use for pain relief, not necessarily THC, but the cannabinoids. So I brought this all here.
I've experienced the VA for over 20 years. They've been a great program and helped me tremendously. Recently, I've had some complications with the VA, and I've had to turn to medical marijuana because my doctor suddenly and abruptly stopped my regular pain medication. I'm hoping to resolve this issue with the VA and move forward.
And so when we see things and we call the VA on it, we expect that they listen, and we're one of the largest veteran service organizations, and that they take us serious, because we want to ensure that the veterans they serve is getting the care and services needed to meet their needs.